Now that the rudder is out, I'm just taking a look at the stuffing box and removing the old one and cleaning it up. The old stuffing material, that is. So I was in the hole, grab the top of it, and this is the stuffing material. So while it's all out, obviously I'm gonna go ahead and replace that. I'm also gonna take a wire brush and clean up the bronze inside there. Get in my hole. Hate getting in here. So, this is where the stuffing material goes in. This is the ring. I'm just gonna get all this corrosion off and clean it up a little bit. You see the quadrants down here. These look pretty gnarly. You have to replace these cable clamps, clean this up. So I got some maintenance to do down here. It's just easier to do all this stuff when everything's out. So obviously that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. It's a little bit cleaner. I like to make sure and take a look underneath everything for obvious corrosion. Also make the mounting surface a little cleaner here where it sits against the bottom of the stuffing box.
Calico Skies is hauled out here in Penasco, Mexico, at Cabrales BoatYard, where we found ourselves in the midst of a mini refit on our 1985 36-foot sailboat. We're only a few weeks in, but that's just the beginning of what will be a lengthy and costly overhaul. Today, we're starting with one of our big projects, building a new arch.
Today we're working on removing the wind gen, so we build our arch. It should be fun. This thing hasn't come down in like 5 years. So I think the first step is going to be to remove the through bolts here, and then get these off the supports, and then bring it down and get the head of the wind gen off.
So how long has this thing been up?
Since 2018, before we crossed the Atlantic the first time. Extra power source for us. I think everything's a little bit seized in there though. We might need to take these off, unfortunately.
The voice behind the camera is Demetrius's, or Big D as we call him, a friend who's generously offered to help out with our refit.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
Difficulty-wise?
Yeah. No, the wind generator.
Oh, for usefulness?
Yeah.
That's pretty useless in a Sea Cortez, but it's pretty sweet in the Caribbean. Get this another like kilowatt of power a day. We usually only make 4 or 5 off solar, so in the trade wind it's pretty sweet. And also in heavy weather, it's perfect because we don't have to worry about power.
Why would I need a wind generator for my boat, Bill?
I think it's best for heavy weather. Like, so it's best when we're in 30 knots and it does all the power we need. I don't have to worry about running a generator. There's usually no sun at that point. So for me, it's heavy weather is what really makes a difference. Yeah. She's stuck. Can you hand me that? Well, I need to get more of it out. I don't want to cut it here. Maybe a hammer just like knock this thing.
Or like a...
Maybe I'm out. Fire in the hole. Yeah, it's not coming out. That's pretty good stuck.
Okay, yeah, the wires coming through are now... So there's actually this much play in them.
Yeah, I think I remember adding a little bit just to be careful.
Yeah, so like...
Okay.
I don't want to pull them my way.
Yep, we're done. We're out. Are they gonna come out?
Yeah, but...
There's also a component up top that will glue it back in place to bring it back in place to the hull. and then you have to prevent on the... Starting to get the fiberglass ready to go for total boat. Yeah, be careful.
Today is a big day. Our blisters are getting glassed.
Look what I found, guys. I don't know what the hell this thing is. Who gave you this tool to use? That's ridiculous.
Bill's having a moment with the pink electric scissors a friend has generously lent him to do this job. Ours didn't arrive in time. But the fiberglass step is a serious one that will take time and concentration.
Coming.
The first phase of this project is to cut the glass for the blisters that are of the same shape and also require only one layer of glass before moving on to the others.
So we're gonna go ahead and label all the ones that are a regular size and are in need of at least one layer of glass. Some of them need 2 layers, like this one, a little bit deeper. But we know we need at least 1 layer in this size. So we have 1, 2, see, this is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 22. I guess 50. Okay. We have the blisters that required 1 layer of glass we did yesterday. There's about 26 of them. So you can see a lot of them are kind of just surface level, but we still wanted to get a little bit of glass in there. Today we're tackling the ones that are deeper. So this one is gonna have 2 layers. You can see the divot here. And we're also tackling the ones that are irregular in shape. So these ones were made more to be circle and they could have a standardized template. These ones are just different shapes, so that's what Demetrius is working on right now. Cutting templates. Got a little topographic map. That's a deep one.
Yeah, well that's the Q one, that's the
transom?
Yeah.
I'll show you which one that corresponds to. Yeah, that one's pretty, pretty aggressive looking. Yeah, this one wasn't pretty back here.
So layer 1, layer 2, layer 3.
I think, yeah, it's deep. Okay. So I'm prepping the surface for epoxy. So I have some Total Boat de-wax surface prep. Kind of getting the area clean and ready for epoxy. Now that the area in the hull is cleaned up with the de-waxer, we're gonna go ahead and paint it with neat epoxy. So we're gonna paint all of them now with the neat, and then we're gonna come and follow back up with thickened epoxy to fill any voids that may have surfaced when we were grinding it out. So the thickened epoxy will fill any little divots we have there. But first step is neat, so I'm gonna go do that. Part of the fiberglass blister remediation. I waited a few days for the fiberglass to clear, just because temperature's been pretty cold here in Penasco actually. But the next step is to scrub the shiny layer off. It's kind of like a blush. It's like a wax that film that develops when the epoxy sets. So taking a Scotch Brite and it's rubbing these things down for a minute or 2. Just to make sure when I go ahead and sand this, I'm not going to have any layer of wax being pushed into the epoxy and resin. Not really too interesting, it's listening to music while I'm doing it, but I figured it's probably a key step to mention, just in case you have to do any fiberglass work, to get the wax off the epoxy once it is set. I'm going to go check on the state of the metal work. This is a metal shop here at BoatYard. They're doing work for us on our arch and dinghy davits. let's go see what they're up to. We're building the arch out of 1 1/4 inch pipe. Here's one of the pieces. So they're starting to do the bends. It's actually quite thick pipe. I was talking to Ricky, the guy here who's building our arch, and he said it's quite fuerte, very difficult to bend, which is hard for building, but very good for strength and rigidity. We will be installing almost 1400 watts of solar up there, so it's got to be strong, and it's going to be carrying our dinghy, so I'm glad we opted for the fatter dimension pipe. I mean, look at that, it's almost like 1/4 of an inch. So that's cool. Progress is being made over here. Some more of our piping. That's the bending machine, I guess, right here. I like to just come over here and check it out because I'm excited for this project. It's gonna be pretty fun.
Hello. Buenos dias.
Buen día.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
13 pesos.
13 pesos. And do I give you this? Okay. Bien. Okay, I have one more. I finally caught the water guy. he goes by in this little
It makes a lot of noise.
truck every morning and he
The
plays a
loudspeaker.
song. And I heard it and I ran out and I was able to grab 2 waters.
That saves us some time.
We don't know the quality of this
I'm sure
particular
it's
water,
fine.
but
You ready for the music? It's like the ice cream truck. That's the fun of living in Mexico. We got our good water though. I think it's one more errand this morning. Pretty funny. Grace's been trying to catch this thing for like weeks though. She finally got it. It's good.
I dropped everything and ran.
I don't feel like going to get water. That's good.
Right on.
And now we're full for like a while, so that's cool.
Pick up our rudder. We're back in America land and gonna get lots of goodies this time. First we're getting the rudder and later we'll be getting our solar panels. The estimated ship time for our new rudder was about 4 to 6 weeks, but it came on the very early side, just shy of 4 weeks since the time we ordered it from Fosfoam. We left Penasco, Mexico over 2.5 weeks ago now, and actually flew to New York to empty an old storage unit we've had since we left New York City 7 years ago to cruise. It was a cold, hectic 30 hours, followed by a drive to North Carolina to see family, and afterwards to Colorado to see friends. We finally arrived back to Phoenix just as our rudder was ready for pickup. Luckily, we have a patron with a commercial address about 10 minutes from my mother's place in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where we had it shipped from Florida, and picking it up today will be easy.
Hi.
Also, the address belongs to an aviation engine repair shop, which is just cool. And not only are we picking up the rudder, but we're going to be treated to a tour of the workshop.
So this is the engine shop. Propeller attaches here, and we'll actually see that because I can see the prop on the test stand. So the prop attaches here, your airflow comes in here, and then you've got in this engine, you got a 2-stage compressor and a 3-stage turbine.
Oh, there's a fan in there.
Yeah, there's an impeller in here, so, and this will actually stand it. You get 2 different impellers, and then here's your turbine wheels.
Jeez.
That's heavier than you
Pretty
think.
heavy, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a machine.
And this little thing, believe that. That's what tells you how much horsepower there is. That's the dyno.
That's the dyno. Okay.
There is a tube that runs through here into the engine. As you increase the power, it changes the blade angle to take up the excess load, and it happens like that.
Is it controllable by
Kind of the pattern coming out of the primaries, and we measure it on here with the webcam. We have an on-screen protractor because the angle is supposed to be between 70 and 90 degrees coming out 1 inch from 1 inch radius around the orifice there. So that's the primaries, and you're looking for 5.45 to 6.05 pounds per hour between at 100 plus or minus 1 PSI.
Sand, sand, sand. Well, the new rudder is in. We're just trying to dry fit the bushing on it right now. It's a little tight, it's a little out of tolerance, but we're taking some sandpaper to it, try to bring it down a little bit. It's noisy over there with the sanders, but I'll show you. It's going?
It's getting there.
Sweet. Hopefully we'll get this rudder dry fit to make sure it's clearing the hull soon.
We arrived back to Mexico late yesterday with the new rudder, and today, besides Big D, we have 2 other friends here helping us to dry fit it.
Hold on.
Getting it to fit perfectly is a challenge because the old bushing was worn, but with this new bushing, the shaft's angle has to be precise in order for it to slide in properly.
Bushing's going out.
I think we're on the right.
I guess it just dropped out. The bearing was so loose and I dropped it.
Once we know that the new rudder physically fits in, then we'll take it to a machine shop to have the holes drilled for the 2 through bolts, and later we'll paint it before permanently installing it. Today's goal was to dry fit it, which we've done successfully. And now we can move on to finishing the bottom and hull, since those have to be painted and completed before the rudder can be installed for good.
Kind of getting the side by side of both rudders. They're pretty similar. We cut a little bit off top just to make sure it fit, but it's a little fatter, the old one, the new one. But the dimensions pretty identical. They line up pretty well, so